Welcome to part 2 of our conversation with Governor Maura Healey. Governor, thank you for hanging out here for a whole week, too.
I know.
It's been a long week, but we had fun.
Thanks for putting me up.
Okay, it's our pleasure. So, last week we were talking about the issues of local control that have been raised regarding housing and the push to develop more affordable housing. That same issue, interestingly enough, has surfaced in connection with education policy. Your administration is seeking legislative authority to force school districts that use discredited literacy curriculum to clean up their act in order to stop the decline in literacy reading scores. But the big teachers union, the Mass Teachers Association, and the Superintendent Association are pushing back hard on this. The superintendent in Lexington said recently that unless you can show, quote, irrefutable gains for your preferred curriculum, it's, quote, illogical for the district to change its approach. What's your response to her?
You know, in the same way last week we talked about how I want to make sure that everybody's kid and grandkid can afford to buy a house in Massachusetts and stay here, live here. The same way, I want every child in Massachusetts to be able to read and read well. And so it's pretty clear and simple what needs to happen. There's actually science-based curricula out there, the science of reading. There's a way to teach kids how to read. What I learned, and I was really shocked by this, John, is that many of our districts aren't using that curricula. They're not teaching kids how to read in a way that's proven for their success.
Why aren't they?
You know, I think over time there were different philosophies around an approach to teaching kids how to read. We got rid of phonics, we went in another direction, and the tests show that hasn't served our students well. And
yet, even in a top-tier district like Lexington, the boss is clinging to the old dogma. What's going on?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm telling folks what I think needs to happen.
Okay.
Because again, the goal is we of all states, you know, we're home to the first public school, public library. We've always prided ourselves on education. But if I see other states beating us when it comes to literacy, that's not right. Every child deserves the chance to read and read well. We also, John, need to support our educators in this. So if we're going to make this move and have districts all on the same page, which I hope they get on, in terms of teaching literacy, teaching reading the right way, we also have to support the educators and the professionals in the classroom to learn that new material so that they're able to get the job done.
But, Governor, they're screaming, local control, butt out, Beacon Hill. One size doesn't fit all. You're not buying any of that.
Well, I was sort of say, for God's sakes, it's about reading, right? I mean, I would hope. I love, and don't get me wrong, I grew up in a small town. I love every single one of our 351 cities and towns. But I would hope that there are certain things we can all get behind for the greater good of this Commonwealth, particularly our young people.
Now, you were endorsed by the Mass Teachers Association when you ran for governor, and you've certainly been an advocate of generous funding for teachers. And yet, on their two big questions that are headed for the November ballot, right to strike for teachers and delinking the MCAS with graduation, making it no longer a requirement to pass the MCAS, you're voting no. What gives and what's the blowback from the union?
Well, you know, I'm just going to call it as I see it, and in my judgment, you know, I think it's very important that we retain MCAS, that we have a way to assess our students and how they're doing, so that we know what else we need to do to support them. And you know, when I think about education and the commitment that we've made to teachers, to educators, it's been real. Our administration and the budget that we filed and that was passed last year, we saw historic levels of funding for K-12 education and higher ed, as well as early education. So I've already been the education governor. These investments are really, really important to make in our young people and in our institutions and in supporting educators. We may not see eye to eye on everything, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
But in exchange for the dough comes accountability?
Well,
Is that a fair summary
it's
of what you're saying?
It's certainly accountability. I think more importantly, John, it's having a way to assess how our young people are doing. That's what we need to focus on. Are they learning the right things?
Yeah.
And are they, what are they learning? Do we need to make changes? Do we need to do other things to support our young people? Just look at COVID. And, we talked about learning loss. We talked about the challenges that both students and educators faced during that time, and parents, let's face it. And so I think it's so important that we of all states lead when it comes to resources for our students, resources for our educators, support for education.
All right, on that note, a short break, and we'll return with Governor Maura Healey in just a moment, so stay with us. Welcome back to our conversation with Governor Maura Healey. And Governor, I commuted to work through the construction of the Big Dig, so I hate it. I want to be upfront about that. I don't think I'm the only one. And I don't ever want to see us get stuck in a boondoggle like that again. Earlier this month, your administration won $355 million in federal funds to help the mega project to straighten the Mass Pike in Alston, which will in turn open up land around it for development and take care of infrastructure that's on the verge of failing. That's great, but the project is estimated to cost $2 billion. And history tells us that's probably a lowball figure. Where's the rest of that money going to come from?
Well, there are a lot of players involved in that project. We have Harvard University, Boston University, the city of Boston. And so what's important here, though, is that we actually went out and got that money, because that's nearly $400 million that we won't have to spend on what is an important project. I think the other point is this. One of the things I committed to when I started a year ago was that we were going to have an office of federal funds so that we could get applications in for transportation and infrastructure projects like this, like Cape Cod bridges, and make sure that we're maximizing every opportunity to bring federal dollars back to the state. And in just 1 year alone, I'm proud to say we've brought back $3 billion to projects just like that. It's important work. These are important investments, and obviously more work to do.
The previous administration didn't have such an operation?
No. No, and I think that, we just did not have success in getting federal dollars. And we've seen a lot of money come through for housing, transportation, infrastructure, for climate-related resilience work. Really important money coming into the state. We work closely with our congressional delegation, and I'm grateful to them for their advocacy. But having that office and that function is really, really important, because we need to maximize the chance to get every single federal dollar that we can into Massachusetts. $400 million for the Alston project, another nearly $400 million for Cape Cod, $108 million for West East Rail, and many, many more projects.
What happens to all that money if Trump wins?
I'm focused on this right now and what we need to do, John. It's obviously a critical year in terms of the election, and I know I'm fully behind President Biden.
I want to talk to you. You mentioned Boston. I want to talk to you about a recent study that found that the collapse of the downtown Boston commercial real estate market has left the city in a terrible hole. Huge budget deficits are looming in the coming years unless the city jacks its residential property tax rates way up, something no one wants to contemplate, and or makes deep cuts in services, again, an unappetizing option, and or gets bailed out by Beacon Hill in the form of more state aid and permission to expand taxing authority in various ways. Do you see yourself down the road signing off on more state aid and taxing power for Boston?
Well, I know the mayor's looking at all of this and trying to work this through. I'd say bigger picture, we've seen some decline in revenues in the state. We're continuing to watch that very closely, and we are squarely focused on affordability. One of the things I'm proud of this month, many people are filing taxes. Last year, we cut $1 billion worth of taxes, and if you're a senior, you'll see a benefit. If you have kids at home, you'll see a benefit. If you have capital gains, we cut your capital gains. We also cut the estate tax. So, we're working every day to make life more affordable. It's troubling what we've seen with downtown Boston and the emptying out of office space. A week ago, I launched a program to actually fund development that will help convert office space that is underutilized or vacant to actual housing, which is something we desperately need. So there are different ways to come at this as we continue to try to incent people back to our downtowns, bring business downtown, bring foot traffic downtown.
But, I mean, can Boston count on the state to bail them out if it comes to that?
I think it's premature to talk about that because we don't know what the numbers are. We'll have to see.
Let me just slip in one last question here. It's been over a year. You mentioned that a couple times. What has surprised you most about this job?
You know, I think one of the surprises is just how wonderfully resilient the people of Massachusetts are. I think about last summer when we saw terrible flooding out in central and western Massachusetts, hundreds of farms on the brink of total failure. And people rallied, and we supported those farms, and it was wonderful to see people come together. And, you know, that's something that always strikes me, John. There's a lot of challenges, and God knows there are a lot of crises. I meet many of them every day. But all the while, I continue to see acts of warmth and generosity, courage in some instances, from across the state. And that gives me a lot of hope and a lot of optimism about this state. I'm pleased that we're continuing to see really good things happen here. We do have companies coming here. We do have employers coming here. We are #1 per capita in venture capital funding, and I just filed an economic development bill to support climate tech and applied AI and life sciences. We're also the #1 state to live in if you're a woman, because of our pay equity and our workplace practices and access to health care. So there's a lot of good things going on in Massachusetts.
Well, you surprised me with that answer. I thought you were going to cite the excellence of the media coverage.
Oh, that goes without saying.
Oh, okay, I appreciate that. Governor, thanks.
Thanks.
You're a good sport.